Imagine waking up from sleep to find that the whole world has turned into zombies and you are alone in this world. Will you be able to survive, or will the zombies consume you and you die? Our story begins with Akira 3 years before the outbreak of this catastrophe. We find him watching a zombie movie completely exhausted, and he says that he has to work the next day. Then he faints from exhaustion and overwork. We see that his life is bleak. His house is messy with a lot of garbage. Then we find Akira introducing himself at work, saying that he is Akira Tendou and that he is very happy to work with them. He is delighted to have been newly hired and thinks to himself that it seems to be a beautiful company with nice colleagues and a great atmosphere. He believes he has found his dream job in the production company, where he will create advertisements for big names. He thinks to himself that he might even meet some celebrities and artists. He goes with his manager to meet his colleagues at work and shows him his office. The manager tells him that if there's anything he doesn't understand, he should ask the department head. Suddenly he bumps into a beautiful girl and all the papers she had in her hands fall. Akira rushes to help her gather the papers, but is surprised to find her stunning. His heart races for her, and we see that he has fallen in love at first sight. She introduces herself as Ootori from the accounting department and tells him that he can ask her for help with invoices or any other questions, as she will be right there on the left side. Then she leaves saying good luck. On his first day in the evening, we find the employees gathering, drinking together and having a good time. They ask Akira which university he attended, and he tells them he went to Q University. Another colleague asks him if he has a girlfriend, to which he replies that he has had no luck in that area. They suggest that he loosen his necktie since they are not in the office anymore. They chat and discovered that Akira has played many sports, surprising them. They say that they will enjoy playing sports together in the future. Meanwhile, Akira daydreams and looks at Ootori, saying to himself, "How adorable you are, Ootori-san, you're my type." As Tendou sees Ootori, she smiles at him and he says to himself, "I'll work diligently and slowly, showing the results of my work to leave a good impression on her." The night continues and they enjoy their time together. The day comes to an end and they say, "Let's return to the office tomorrow." The next day they find all the employees working diligently. But Tendou is surprised by this and wonders what is happening. "We stayed up all night on the first day and I was still in the office." He realizes he is truly exhausted and falls asleep at his desk. This pattern continues day after day and he loses his passion for work, longing to return home for rest. He says to himself, "When can I go home?" But his boss interrupts him, saying he needs to go out to buy dinner. Tendou thinks to himself, "It seems I won't be able to return home tonight either." In the end, he couldn't leave the office and go home for 2 days. Eventually he manages to go back home, but Akira is exhausted and he can't change his clothes. So he sleeps as he is. He wakes up to his alarm clock and thinks to himself, "How long will I stay away from home this time? I need to sleep. I haven't had enough sleep. I don't want to go to work so suddenly." But he encourages himself, saying, "Come on. I chose this career. I've worked hard for this day. Press on and don't be a coward." He starts getting ready for work, thinking, "I'm the one who chose this path. I'll work hard and gradually show the results of my work to leave a good impression on her." He sets off for work and then we see the manager telling him about the company's vacation policy, including days off for his birthday and mental health. However, these days off are rarely used by anyone before the manager says. They encourage friendly competition among employees, such as inviting each other to dinners and soft drinks to support one another. The manager also mentions that the head of the department is quite temperamental and gets angry easily. He asks them, "Can't you solve things on your own? Come on. Make a decision without me." He scolds some of the employees, even making one of the girls cry when he shouted at her. Akira realizes that everyone in the office is very concerned about their health in the second year. It seems that Akira has indeed adjusted to work. He thinks to himself, "When was the last time I took a shower?" But his boss interrupts him at work, saying that one of the employees has left and Akira will take his place. He thinks to himself, "I worked all night again. Maybe a missile will fall on me afterward." He is surprised to see Ootori bringing him lunch, which she prepared for him when she realized he had missed it again. Tendou must eat his meal to regain his strength and he's overjoyed by Ootori's caring gesture. He expresses his deep gratitude to her for everything she does, knowing she's the only person who keeps him sane in this chaotic company. Secretly, Tendou is infatuated with Ootori, but he hasn't revealed his feelings to anyone. Suddenly the manager approaches and asks Ootori to come to his office if she has some free time. In a rush she hurries to the manager, leaving Tendou with a heavy heart. He becomes saddened, thinking there might be a romantic relationship between Ootori and the manager. Ootori is the only person who can make him genuinely laugh from the depths of his heart. Disheartened, Tendou heads to his work. Still shocked by what has transpired after finishing his work, Tendou returns home. As he walks down the street, he feels a sense of shock and extreme exhaustion. He contemplates searching for another job, but he wonders when he will find the time if he quits his current job. His team will have to manage the workload during his absence. Moreover, there are other companies in the industry that are even worse to work for. Tendou feels apathetic, as if nothing matters anymore. The next day, Tendou goes to work as if nothing happened. The previous night he engages in a conversation with his friend about the general manager's promise to cast his grandson in the upcoming advertisement. This means Tendou has to rewrite the advertisement script and add the character. Tendou becomes annoyed because this is the 5th time they've revised the ad, and he shouts at the man, demanding that he not wastes any more time to avoid any consequences. There are several other companies competing for this advertisement. O assures them that he will finish it that day as Tendou works on the project. He becomes tired of it. He had already hired actors and crew members on a small budget, but he doesn't know how to compensate them if the project falls through. After much contemplation and a long day of work, Tendou walks from the company to his home. He feels trapped, always surrounded by the chaos of life. If he has money, he doesn't need to return to work. The next day he arrives at his garbage-filled house, sits down to watch TV and eats his meal. He is extremely fatigued from the grueling work at the company, where everyone takes advantage of him before going to sleep. Tendou thinks of one thing: never waking up again the next morning. He wakes up angry, not wanting to go to work. However, he has no choice but to get dressed and head to the office. When he steps outside his house, he notices that he forgot to pay the parking fee for his bike. He decides to go to the building manager's office, unsure if he is awake or not. He knocks on the door, but there's no response. Determined, he heads to work to avoid being late while walking. He notices the manager's house door is wide open. Curiosity piques his interest and he moves towards it to enter the house. He apologizes profusely for intruding and explains that he wants to discuss the parking fee. However, to his shock, he witnesses the manager devouring a girl lying on the floor. Tendou falls silent in sheer disbelief, as he sees the girl's body transform into a terrifying creature. The manager, now turned into a zombie, lunges at Tendou, eager to feast on him. Terrified, Tendou flees from the scene, rushing out into the streets. To his horror, he realizes that everyone around him has also transformed into zombies. They chase after him, hungry for his flesh. He runs desperately, unable to comprehend what is happening to him. Suddenly, he collides with a door, falling to the ground. The girl who had previously turned into a creature tries to devour him. It confirms Tendou's worst fear, that everyone has turned into zombies, fleeing for his life. He rushes back into his house, but he knows he needs to leave to make it to work on time. He keeps running with the horde of transformed people chasing him relentlessly. As Tendou runs frantically, fearful of the zombies, he declares, "I won't be forced to work anymore." Starting from today, he encounters zombies everywhere he goes and he fights them off, taking them down one by one. He reflects, saying, "I used to see the world in black and white, covered by a dark cloud, but now I realize that the world is full of colors. I am happy now I don't have to work today." Tendou finds himself alone in this place and he notices the zombie standing in front of him, trapped. He talks to himself with a sense of joy, contemplating what to do today. "I could finally get my motorcycle license, or maybe I'll start the day by drinking and watching movies all day long from today onwards. I can do whatever I want." Then he wonders if Ootori is safe or not, but it doesn't matter anymore. If she is involved with someone else, he believes it's better to be eaten by zombies than to regret suppressing his feelings for 3 years. Determined, he rushes to save Ootori from them, witnessing zombies everywhere within the city. Finally, he reaches her room, but he hesitates to enter. He sees the manager, now a zombie, in her room and says to him, "The long and exhausting hours at work made me forget the meaning of living like a human. But now it's time to regain control of my life. I've decided to resign starting today. Tendou attacks the manager with a powerful blow and throws him out the window. He searches for Ootori and is shocked to find her transformed into a zombie overwhelmed with grief. He bursts into tears and tells her, since my first day at work, I've been madly in love with you. Running away from her, he utters his farewell in the evening. He sits contently, knowing he won't have to go to work today. I die, or even after 60 years. In any case, there was never enough time to do everything we wanted to do. I want to accomplish 100 things before I become a zombie. The adventure begins with Tendou, as he dreams of being at work, where his boss screams at him to complete his tasks on time. He wakes up startled, thinking that everything that happened was real, and continues to scream at the top of his lungs. But then he remembers that he is in his own home and no longer obligated to work due to the zombies lurking everywhere. He steps out onto the balcony, ecstatic because he will finally enjoy the vacation he has been longing for since 3 years ago, starting today. Moreover, he plans to make the most of everything to bring happiness to himself. Afterward, Tendou enters his apartment to clean every corner, as it was filled with dirt and hadn't been cleaned in 3 years. Now, everything shines brightly, and every part of the house sparkles. He doesn't recall the last time he felt so excellent, and after finishing the cleaning, he decides to relax and savor his favorite drink. When he takes a sip, he becomes extremely delighted because he didn't know that the feeling of skipping work and enjoying this drink in the early morning would be so fantastic. The freedom from work and responsibilities is truly a beautiful thing. Tendou then sits in front of the TV to see what's happening in Tokyo, only to find that fires are raging everywhere, and the world is literally in ruins. Even the studio where a girl is filming is overrun by zombies, who are attempting to invade the place. The government hasn't reached them yet, and the zombies manage to kill everyone. The connection is severed from that location. Tendou looks out from the balcony once again, wondering what he should do next, but he doesn't care as long as he can enjoy his favorite drink. He will remain in his apartment, solely indulging in his drink and doing nothing else. Then, he goes to his fridge to take another drink, only to discover that it's finished, causing him to scream because he was certain there was another one. He continues searching but finds nothing, which angers Tendou greatly because now he has to go to the store and buy more. He wanted to be lazy and spend the day at home, but he's forced to go out. While looking from his balcony, he spots one of the zombies, quickly hiding in fear but with no other option. Then, we see the couple inside their home, extremely frightened of the zombies as the police have not come to their aid yet. The husband tries to calm his wife, assuring her that they should hold on for another day until the police arrive. However, the wife keeps screaming that they will never escape this danger, believing that their fate is sealed and this is the end of the world. At that moment, the husband steps out onto the balcony and sees Tendou descending from a pipe, causing both of them to scream out of fear, thinking he might be a zombie. But Tendou informs them that the staircase in his building is infested with zombies, which is why he's using this unconventional method. The husband asks him to come to their apartment, and they are still safe. However, Tendou has to go out to buy some things for himself. He introduces himself as their neighbor in the adjacent building, and he's delighted to meet them. If they need anything, like instant noodles or flashlights, they can let him know. They place an order for a few items they need, and then Tendou grabs his bike to make his way. The zombies, having multiplied since the previous day, start following him. It's becoming difficult for him to escape if he's on his bike and surrounded by many of them. Tendou rushes with all his might, hoping no one catches him. Eventually, he reaches the store, goes inside, and buys his favorite drink. There, he sees the same girl buying things for herself as well. He's shocked when he sees her because he was singing in a peculiar way, not wanting her to think he's odd. He strikes up a conversation with her, eager to get to know her, and tells her that he also ventured out for shopping, considering it challenging with all the zombies around. However, she doesn't respond to him. And he tells her that he was going to be lazy at home, but his favorite drink ran out. The girl leaves him and goes away, with Tendou following behind her, offering to exchange contact information. The girl responds that risking everything to go out and buy a drink is unnecessary and not a high priority task. She can't imagine being on a team with someone who doesn't know how to assess risks. she prefers not to diminish her chances of survival and refuses to exchange contact information with him. During their conversation, a zombie enters the store, and Tendou quickly warns her, rushing to save her. The girl grabs him and pushes him backward as a surprise truck enters the store, killing the zombie. Then, the girl leaves Tendou and takes his motorcycle, leaving him surprised. Tendou speaks to himself, realizing the importance of risk analysis and how the things that happen in zombie movies actually happen to them. He thinks about the beautiful girl and wishes to see her again. Suddenly, a zombie appears in front of Tendou, and he is forced to go back to his home on foot. He searches for something that can transport him back, finding a motorcycle, which fills him with joy. He uses it to return to his apartment, climbing the pipes while feeling happy because he has stocked up on a lot of drinks. Then, he meets the beautiful girl and arrives at Kosaka's apartment to offer his drink. However, he finds that the window glass is broken and blood is everywhere, realizing that they have turned into zombies. He becomes very sad. At night, we see Tendou sitting in front of the TV, drinking a lot of his favorite drink, talking to himself about how he could die today or in 60 years. In any case, there isn't enough time to do everything he wants to do. Life is too short to avoid taking risks. He had many things he wanted to do as a child, but he always found excuses, and now he ends up not doing anything. Tendou writes down the things he wanted to do, including confessing to the girl he loves, cleaning his room, indulging in his favorite drink every day, riding a motorcycle, and many more things he wants to do. If he doesn't accomplish these things, he prefers to be eaten by zombies. Tendou continues to write down many things he wants to do before becoming a zombie. The next morning, the girl wakes up and does her morning exercises. She hears an urgent news flash on TV, instructing all residents to lock their doors securely and not leave their homes. The broadcast is interrupted due to the zombies entering the building. The girl cannot communicate with the main office in Los Angeles. It seems the situation is very dire. Then, the girl searches on the computer for food security, water, and obtaining a sustainable energy source to maintain mental balance. At that moment, the man appears, extremely happy that he escaped the zombies, but his joy is short-lived as the zombies attack him. Afterwards, the girl talks about there being two types of zombies in movies, slow and fast ones, and both types are present in this zombie outbreak. If they encounter them, the chances of survival will significantly increase. She needs preliminary data before anything else. The girl takes the motorcycle and says that she will gather some supplies before the number of infected individuals increases. She tells Tendou that he should look for less dangerous areas in their neighborhood. She goes to the store to buy some things, leaving the motorcycle behind and placing a camera on it. Then, she sees Tendou inside the store, and there's also a zombie on their way to the store, but they are far enough that she will be able to get what she wants and leave. Tendou talks to her, but she doesn't respond. Then, the girl thinks to herself that a guy who can't think ahead is incapable now. How did someone like him survive for this long? And there's a possibility that she might be attacked if she goes out now. She sees that there are many zombies outside. Tendou goes to rescue her, but the girl holds him back, saying that they collided with a truck driven by a zombie. Then, she rides her bike and goes away. Afterward, she arrives at her home. She secured everything, including food, energy, and fuel. She also acquired some data about the behavior patterns of the zombies she encountered that day. Then, she sees Tendou in the camera, looking extremely happy because he got his own special drink. At the beginning of this episode, we see three new faces, Shitai, Haruki, and Shu. When she sees their picture, a girl cries and asks why this is happening. She calls for her mother and father, who have probably died in this zombie apocalypse. When the first guy in the picture, Shu, comes to try to calm her down, he gives her a drink and tells her everything will be fine. From now on, he pats her on the head and tells her to sleep. Now that she's a subordinate, she goes to him and whispers that they're back. So Shu tells the girl he has to leave because he has an important meeting and promises to be back soon so they can hang out again. He tells her to wait until then, but she starts shaking with fear as soon as she thinks about being alone again. When Shu sees this, he grabs her hand and tells her again that he will definitely be back soon. Then, he and his team pick up some weapons from the gangsters along the way and go fight them. It's been found out that zombies went outside the Shu's club and started infecting more people. So, the day Shu was talking about was the day of the zombies, and he told everyone in his group right away to kill all of the zombies here before they could infect anyone else. Both sides fight as if it were the end of the game. Even though Akira is only a few blocks away when he rides his bike, he still thinks the view of the city is beautiful. Akira gets ready again after taking a good look at herself, as he tells them that he has come to save his friend Chencho. A flashback shows Akira shaving his annoying beard in the morning, but when he sees how good he looks, he thinks he should keep the beard since he doesn't have to look professional anymore since he quit his job. But he wonders if he can get his beard to grow in a cooler way, so that people will accept his unattractive beard. Akira draws a beard on his face with a marker or pen, but even that looks bad, so he decides it's better not to grow a beard. So, he crosses off number 10 on his list of things he wants to do before he dies. Grow a cool beard, since he can't. After getting some rest, Akira is thinking about what he should do when, all of a sudden, his phone starts to vibrate. Akira checks his phone and sees that he's getting a lot of messages at once, which means that the network signal is somehow back. Instead of checking his message, Akira first checks to see if the internet is back up. He is happy to see that it is, so he searches the internet for a while and even tries to talk to friends he hasn't had time to talk to in a long time. But even after hours of waiting, no one answers, and Akira realizes that the only reason they aren't answering is because they are dead. He also realizes that the internet is back because most people have died and there is no longer any traffic on the network. He wonders if he shouldn't have worked overtime when things were normal so he could have spent more time with his friends. Akira remembers when his friend Kento told him to just quit his boring job. Akira knows that someone like Kenshi wouldn't die so easily, so he tries to get in touch with him to find out where he is right now. While this is going on, Kaira's friend Kenshi tells her that he has locked himself in a hotel room full of zombies. He struggles to get air and wonders if there is any way for him to get away. As the zombies start to break down the door behind him, Kenshi realizes that this is the end for him because there is no other way out. He says that he has been locked in this room for 3 days and has had nothing but water to drink. The average person can't go a week without food, but that shouldn't worry you. Kento doesn't care because he has bigger things to worry about. He says that he has been stuck in this room with a zombie woman, who he was able to lock up in chains because he was in a bondage room. His vision starts to get worse as he loses the energy to stay awake from being hungry, and he feels bad about dying this way. Kino starts to have flashbacks of when he and Akira were in college and played together. He remembers that Akira was the only one who laughed at his dumb jokes. He wonders if he'll ever get to see his old friend again in the afterlife. Suddenly, his phone rings, and he looks at it to see that it's Akira. Who is he calling? Akira wants to meet up with Kenshi, but Kenshi says he is locked up in a hotel room in Shirku. Even though Akira knows that the place must be full of zombies, he still goes there. Kenshi tells him to forget about him, but Akira won't go anywhere without his friend, so he hangs up on Kenshi after telling him to send his address. After getting the address, Akira rides his bike straight to Shinjuku and tells us that he and Kenshi were best friends back in college and went through a lot together. During those 4 years, he remembers Kenshi as a handsome, happy, and popular guy. After college, Ken Cho became a successful real estate agent, thanks to his natural ability to communicate. While Akira was having trouble with his office job, he remembers that he and his friend talked in a bar. When Ken Cho talked about how well his life was going and how he had a girlfriend, Akira got jealous because he was going through a lot of pain and didn't have the patience to hear about other people's successes. So, instead of quitting the hellish job, he slowly pushed Kenshi out of his life. So Akira wants to make up for it by helping Kenshi when he's in trouble. On the other hand, the Shu's gang loses to the zombies, leaving only Shu standing. He knows this is the end as a group of zombies slowly moves toward him to eat him, but as he gives up, the zombies are drawn to a scary sound coming from the opposite direction and head in that direction. The noise seems to be coming from a horn on a car parked in the middle of the road, and Akira says that he is the one making the noise. After distracting the zombies, he easily gets out of the place and heads to the hotel. Kenshi comes out of his room, too, and wonders where all the zombies went. He walks in the direction of the elevator. When Akira finally finds him and starts crying, he tells Kento he's sorry and that he was right and that he should have just quit his job. Akira says sorry to Kenshi for pushing him away from his life, and Kenshi forgives him because of Kira's crying and shouting, which makes zombies again want to be around them. So they start going up, and they run up to the roof. Akira uses the air conditioning to block the door, and then he tells Kenshi that they can only escape by jumping and leaping to the next building. He jumps bravely to the next building and proves that he does have steel balls, but Kento can't get up the courage to jump off when he sees how high and far apart the two buildings are. So, out of fear of dying, he backs off and decides to be eaten by zombies instead of falling to his death. He realizes that he is about to give up on his life. Akira tells him not to, but Cho doesn't see any other way out. He apologizes to Akira for putting him through so much trouble just so he couldn't save his friend. In the end, the zombies start to use their strength to break through the door on the rooftop. Kenshi wants to tell Akira something he has been keeping secret for a long time. He tells Akira that all the things he said about his job over the years were lies. In fact, he never liked his job at all, which is the truth. Kenshi says that every day he had to smile at people while telling them lies, which is exactly what real estate agents do. Anyway, Kenshi says that he tricked his clients into signing bad contracts, which earned him praise from his bosses and recognition from his company. Even though Ken Cho had a lot of success, he dated a lot of beautiful models. He never thought it was right, which didn't make him happy in the least. Ken Cho thinks he's a bad person for making Akira feel bad, so he apologizes to her. But Akira forgives him, tells him to forget about his past because this is a new time, and tells him to start enjoying life again. So Ken Cho decides to change his way of life. He tells Akira that he's always wanted a job where he could genuinely entertain his clients, so he decides to become a stand-up comedian and stay alive until that day. Akira also tells Ken Cho that he can be anything he wants, and she pushes him to jump off the building. So Kenshi finally gets up the courage to jump off the building like Spider-Man. He even takes off his clothes, but since there's no suit underneath, he's nothing but naked. Akira starts laughing when he sees Kento messing around, and while he is laughing, Kento fails to land on the building and can only hold on to the edge of the roof with his hands. Akira saves him from dying in time, and then the two friends get naked together and make up. Ken Cho tells Akira that he wants to become a stand-up comedian one day when the end of the world comes. Akira tells Ken Cho that he didn't expect him to cry like a baby back then, but what surprised him even more was that Kenshi also jumped off the buck naked. Ken Cho says that his clothes were made of high-tech material that was easy to take off. He says that he only took them off to celebrate his comeback as an entertainer. Then Kenshi told Akira a naked joke, so Akira asked him why he was always telling naked jokes. Kenshi says he likes it and decides to make more jokes from now on because he wants to become a stand-up comedian, which is his dream job. Ken Cho tells Akira that he often wishes he could stand on a stage with a full crowd watching him. So, he asks Akira if he has any connections from work that could help him do stand-up comedy, but when Akira hears the word work, he denies ever having done any work, implying that he has moved on from that part of his life. Ken Cho tells him that he was the one who looked like a zombie when he was dying from working at the company that took advantage of people. In fact, back then, Akira looked even scarier than the zombies. When Akira hears that, it hurts him a little, so he tells Ken Cho that he can never be a stand-up comedian. But they both know that they are just joking around and enjoying the clear night view while drinking beer together. Kento talks again about how great Akira looked today and how brave he was. Ken Cho says that guys who quit their jobs, leave everything behind, and move on with their lives tend to be very successful in the long run. So, he thinks that once the end of the world is over, they'll both be very successful in their lives. Kenshi wonders if Akira will become a business owner, an artist, or even the person who saves the world from the zombie apocalypse. Akira asks Ken Cho if he wants to be that guy. Ken Cho tells Akira that it will never happen because he doesn't see himself as a hero. Both of them laugh again, this time hysterically like old friends, and Kento thinks of a new joke for his stand-up act. Akira thinks that the part probably has him stripping off, and they both start laughing again. In the thrilling world of this anime, the episode kicks off with the daring hero Akira, armed with a pistol, bravely taking on hordes of zombies. His trusty companion, Kinjo, prepares a feast as Akira finishes the game with a flourish. But hold on, it turns out Akira was inside a game all along. They leave the virtual realm to Kinjo's place, where he ecstatically declares that camping at home is absolutely awesome. Surprisingly, they're not in the heart of Tokyo, but their excitement is unbridled as they enjoy a delectable meal together. Akira is amazed by the flavors, especially the secret ingredient, tender pork ribs. However, Kinjo drops a bombshell: he can't date anyone. This infuriates Akira, who finds it heart-wrenching, vowing to find someone who'll appreciate him. Just wait a little, this day will come. Meanwhile, Kinjo spots zombies roaming the streets through a hidden picture and gives Akira his best wishes. Angered by his friend's apathy, Akira switches to Kinjo's perspective. He finds Akira's journal and learns about his bucket list of 100 things to do before becoming a zombie. Akira assures Kinjo that he will achieve everything on the list without any limits. But Kinjo warns about the dangers of working for an exploitative company, potentially damaging one's mind. Still, he adds some wishes to the list, like becoming a renowned stand-up comedian. Akira can't contain his excitement at Kinjo's support and proposes going to Ikebukuro to get an extra-wide television. The scene shifts to the two friends on a motorcycle, where Kinjo reveals a major predicament: he needs specialized training to enter the entertainment field and become a talent agent. Undeterred, Akira suggests he needs no teacher to learn how to run around naked. But Kinjo's passion for diverse comedy shows surpasses everything else, fueling his desire to become a comedian someday. The adventure is just beginning, as these two companions embark on a journey filled with excitement, dreams, and laughter. As the car approached them, Tendou couldn't shake off the idea of speeding up to overtake it. He knew that if it attacked, they would die instantly. However, his friend warned him not to do it, but Tendou was adamant and decided to follow through with his plan. He rode his motorcycle at top speed towards the car and crashed into it. The impact sent him flying upwards, scaring his friend immensely. Tendou's motorcycle continued its wild ride through the underground market, and they encountered an overwhelming number of zombies. His friend grew increasingly worried as they left the motorcycle behind and entered a shop on their right, seeking refuge and hoping to find electronic devices. Angrily, his friend berated him for prioritizing gadgets over safety. Inside the shop, they met the girls, Rika, Maki, and Yukari, who were shining a bright light in their faces while scared of accidentally being zombies. Tendou reassured them that they were regular humans, but they wouldn't believe him due to the surrounding zombie threat. Kinjo confirmed their story, explaining that they left their homes to purchase electronics, but the girls remained skeptical. In awe, Akira and Kinjo realized that these girls were flight attendants, and this stunned them, as their dream was to travel. It was beyond their belief that they were sitting, eating, and conversing with flight attendants. Meanwhile, outside, the zombies attempted to breach the shop. Tendou dreamt of having a luxurious dinner with the flight attendants, but the current situation dampened their enjoyment. He wanted to talk to one of the girls, but the circumstances weren't suitable, so he refrained. Kinjo chatted with another girl, and this frustrated Tendou, wishing he was charming or had smooth talking skills like Kinjo. Tendou thought to himself that he would try to get close to one of the girls, even if it meant the zombie would eat him. He started drinking excessively but eventually became tired and went to the bathroom. Meanwhile, the injured man they met earlier arrived at the shop. One of the girls complained about the declining aviation industry, low wages, dry air on planes, and how her back hurt from standing for long periods. Then, the man transformed into a zombie and attacked the girl. Kinjo heard her screams and rushed to help. In a heart-wrenching moment, Akira asked the girl why she was worried about him. She revealed that he achieved so much in such a short time, and her concern arose when she noticed it. Talking to himself, Akira mused that no one falls in love with someone who snorts drinks from their nose. The girl replied, sharing that she already had a lover, but they lost contact. Nevertheless, she believed they'd reunite soon. This revelation brought tears to Akira's eyes, and he thanked her for letting him dream, even if only for a brief moment. Reflecting on the girl's genuine concern, Akira realized she was indeed a kind-hearted person. The scene shifted to Kinsho and his girlfriend, who were trailing behind Rika. Kinsho questioned why Rika suddenly screamed, only to witness her transform into a zombie and drink a mysterious potion. She charged towards them, attacking Kinsho's girlfriend, and in a fit of rage, Kinsho struck her with a bag, killing her. He felt tremendous sorrow, but deep down, he knew she was already a zombie. Moving on, the focus shifted to Akira and his girlfriend, sitting on the stairs. She asked him about his job, and Akira revealed that he had been working for an exploitative company for 3 years, and this year marked his third. His girlfriend understood the physical and mental toll it took on him, especially after an old man's angry outburst, calling them a group of flight attendants. These words made her doubt the real reason for Akira's dedication to the job. Talking to himself, Akira realized that he needed to find a new job. He was merely using exploitation as an excuse to leave. His aspirations lied in the production industry, as he dreamt of doing something remarkable. However, his current job was entirely different from what he had envisioned. Exploitation was just a facade for him to abandon it. But when he thought about the things he wanted to do, they were merely borrowed dreams from others. He asked his girlfriend if her dream was to become a flight attendant. If it was her dream, and she continued working towards it, she should not worry about the old man's words. Suddenly, the zombie man appeared behind them and attacked Akira's girlfriend, biting her. Akira held him back, and after a struggle, the girl rose from the ground, discovering that the zombie man bit her neck. She reassured Akira that the man left quickly, and she was fine. She recounted her childhood flight experience, which was miserable due to motion sickness, but the flight attendant kindly rubbed her back, making her extremely happy. She aspired to be like her when she grew up. While they talked, the zombie man quietly climbed the stairs, and they continued conversing, realizing that her dream was indeed to become a flight attendant. Akira shed tears, hoping to find his own dreams someday. The girl then playfully pushed Akira with her hand, saying that today's party was fantastic, and she thoroughly enjoyed it. Suddenly, the zombie man attacked her again. Akira managed to stop him, and they realized that the man bit her during the struggle. The girl explained that the man bit her wrist. Akira was relieved that she was safe, but he couldn't help but cry. Afterward, he laughed and praised Kinsho for getting an extra-wide television. He cried again, saying how much he appreciated that Kinsho got it for him. They mounted the motorcycle and departed. Later, on the rooftop, Akira and Kinsho were watching the television, preparing food and recalling their friends talking about their dreams. Akira picked up a pen and wrote in his journal to remember his childhood dream. The episode concluded with Akira starting to play with a smile, and thus, the 4th episode of this anime came to an end. To follow the rest of the episodes, please subscribe to the channel and enable notifications for updates.